Hey guys and gals, welcome to part one of the Rack and Rod Chronicles Backcountry Gearless video series. So as you saw yesterday, we did the first impressions on the initial Ascent IA6K pack. This pack, again, right out of the box, fell in love with it. Features, weight, everything was there. But obviously now we're going to need to get into more details so that you guys can make a better decision on what pack is best fit for you. So the IA6K is actually a total of 6,300 cubic inches, and the way this particular one is set up, we have the three-piece gear system, which gave you the lid and the pannier, which you'll see here in a few minutes, which will take this pack to a total of 8,800 cubic inches. So again, keep in mind, you're packing all of your gear, all of your camping gear, clothing, everything you need into this pack going into the backcountry. And if you have a harvest, you need to be able to get all of that gear plus your meat back out. So some people say we can get away with 4,000 cubic inch pack, 5,000 cubic inch pack. In my eyes, I'd rather go a little bit bigger. Maybe there's a little extra added weight because of size, but again, I'm not really worrying about that. I want to make sure what I take in and whatever I harvest, I can get back out. So the pack in general, before you hit the three-piece system, is you have your actual pack, no lid. Lid is right here. So no lid. No pannier attached to the frame, which is underneath. So you have your pack and your frame, which you can more than likely probably get away with not having the lid portion, but you'll see a reason why you will want that lid here in a few minutes. So pack alone, you have compression straps on the outside, you have compression straps at the bottom, so you want to put your bedroll, sleeping bag, tent, what have you at the bottom, you can. The material here on the pockets is actually really neat. So most packs, you get these funny pockets that when you put stuff in them, they kind of stick out in different angles. On these two front pockets right here with the waterproof zippers, this is actually an expandable material. So as you're shoving stuff in there, it's going to allow the pack or the pocket to go out, so you don't have all kinds of goofy looking pockets. A lot of people run the same material that the outside of the bag is made with in these pockets, so it doesn't allow for any stretch. So Dennis and Joe really thought about that, and again, these are pretty big pockets, so you have a lot of room in the top pocket, even more room in this bottom pocket, a whole lot of room in this bottom pocket actually. So very good design there. Again, both waterproof zippers. These excuse me one second. The pack itself is a 500D Kadura, so outside of these two pocket areas, that's what this material is. It's 500D Kadura, so it's gonna withstand some abuse. Now you'll see these two black stripes here. Those are actually phenomenal design ideas, because a lot of the hunting packs that are out there today are top axis only. So this is top axis, so it has a drawstring top, allows you to expand the bag pretty tall. Okay, it also gives you a lot of room to get in there. But let's say your buddy's with you, right where something is that you packed into your pack. These are side access pockets into the main compartment. There's one on each side. So even if you took the pack off, you don't have to take your lid off, get into the top of the bag. You can access the inside main compartment of your pack from either side. Both of those also have waterproof zippers. So if you kind of look at the pack, it's a little hard to see on camera, but if you look at it, it's not exactly 100% square or rectangular, and it's like that for a reason. So again, kudos to Dennis and Joe on designing this, but the problem with a lot of packs that are completely square or rectangular shaped is the fact that when you pack everything, it puts everything as far as weight in the wrong spot. So a lot of times you end up with too much weight at the bottom, too much weight on the top, and that's because it's basically a square. You're just shoving things into a square and it has no place to go but either to the bottom or the top. So the initial Ascent packs are designed like a wedge. So when it's loaded and you can look at it, okay, it's gonna almost be like a V. And they did that for a reason. So basically, as you're loading your pack, it's keeping too much weight from hitting the bottom, pushing it towards the middle, and the same thing with the top. So now it puts the weight in the middle of the pack where it should be, so that the weight is resting on your hips and not on your shoulders. And you'll see more about that while I'm doing the fitment video later on. But so you got the front of the pack down. Obviously you have a huge top access area, which allows you to really stick some gear in there, because it's probably got another 6 to 8 inches on this bellows. It does have the drawstring closer, so you don't have to worry about that. You have side entry pockets. You do have some daisy chain webbing here towards the bottom, so if you need to clip something to it. Same thing, you have down here, if you, again, these straps, sleeping bag, bedroll, tent, depending on what kind it is, you can strap right here with these compression straps to hold on the bottom of the pack. The expandable stretchy material pockets on the front, all waterproof zippers, which is great. So now we're going to go to the sides. So the sides, I'm going to undo some straps here so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. So I've undone 2 buckles that were on this side, and you have one pocket right here and another one directly behind it. So this is more, again, of the stretchy type material, so I would say water bottle-ish style pocket. This one here, I'm basically, my elbow, to give you a better idea, my whole hand is in there, straight fingered, and I am just to my elbow roughly on this pocket. So on the opposite side, you have very similar pockets. Again, stretchy material on the bottom, and another long pocket. This one's actually probably a little bit longer than the other. Yeah, so I'm straight fingered, almost up into my shoulder, and this is going to be spotting scope, tripod. When not using it for a hunting situation, you can put your trekking poles in there. So extremely well designed, and if you think about it, so you have 2 pockets, that one is about to my elbow, the other one almost to my shoulder. What you see a lot of times with packs when guys are out backcountry hunting is they have their spotting scope and their tripod on the same exact side of the pack. In theory, it's a good idea. The problem is it throws weight off. So if you can separate weight to the outside of your pack, being that your center of your pack has already been, distinguished in weight by the way that they designed the pack, that's going to help keep it from swaying. So I would run probably my spotting scope on this bigger pocket that went all the way up to my shoulder, and my tripod on the other side, because my tripod is pretty lightweight and it's only so long, and that still leaves me room for some my trekking poles if I'm not using them. So main pack itself, awesome design, and you'll see as we're adding all of the gear to this pack how important that becomes. So now we'll go over to the lid. So the lid, you have waterproof zipper on the top. Now this is Kedura material on the top, so this is not the type of stretchy pocket that you saw on the front, but it is waterproof zipper, which is very important. Again, rain cover or not, you want to try to keep as much moisture out of the inside of your pack as possible. So on the inside of the lid, you have another little storage pocket right here. And I apologize, it's, there you go. With only having one person here to film this, it makes things a little more difficult. Now the inside, obviously, you can see it here, my hand is in the pocket now. You know, license, you know, small items that you need with you, but you don't need to have ready to go somewhere. So that's a good place to keep. And this is, while it's a true review, because I've never used this pack in my life, and becoming familiar with it, and I missed this pocket when I was doing this morning. So your water bladder actually goes inside your lid, behind that little license pocket. There's some Velcro over here, and then it has the chute to have your tubing come out with your bite valve. So that was an ingenious idea, because a lot of times these packs have that bladder in here, and I thought I saw a seam, and I was incorrect. So normally they put it here on the back near the frame, and you know, if it's a day hike and you don't have a bunch of weight, that could be an okay thing. But what can happen is, if you have a lot of stuff pushing against it, even though there's material covering the frame, if you put enough weight against it and you find, you know, anything that could rub into that bladder and pop it, that's the last thing you want on a hiking trip, is, you know, having everything in your bag get soaked, because you got 2 liters of water in there. So I apologize for inappropriately pointing where that bladder went to, but it does go inside under the lid. So that's a great spot for it. It's up out of the way, keeps the water up here instead of anywhere near all your gear. And it has the hose that come, you know, your hose pocket to come out. And that actually stays pretty well protected in there, so you don't really have to worry about catching that on anything either. So it'll basically come out right between your 2 frame posts. So in getting to the frame, this is the Integris frame, which is the men's version. So this is a beautiful, beautiful setup. You can see where all of your tie-in points are for all of your straps. Again, it is adjustable. So these straps right here will adjust your shoulder straps, and this will adjust. There's some webbing back behind here to adjust your hip belt, along with these, which you'll see more in the fitting. But they also make this, or make a frame for women specifically, called the Invictus. The Invictus, you could see some videos on their website and on their YouTube page on the women's pack. So the total frame weight, the frame itself weighs 19 ounces, which is, you know, 1.25 pounds maybe, 1.1 pounds. But with everything on here, with the pannier loader, it weighs 6.5 pounds. So 6.5 pounds, for me, in my head, and the way that I thought about this entire trip was, you know, that weight works okay for me. Because, again, after researching for almost a month of different packs, this was the best setup that I had seen. So again, you'll see Keith, the pack that he chose, he'll go through all of that, but at 6.5 pounds and 8,800 cubic inches of space, it's well worth it. Again, because it's going to carry correctly. The design of the pack is meant for carrying gear and weight. But let's go into getting to the actual pannier. So One cool thing, so the buckles that I took off before to get to the side pockets, you can see the pannier in here now, but you're like, well, how do you get there? So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your load lifters, so you take your lid and let it fall back behind the pack. You're going to take your load lifters, which are part of, getting the correct carry of the pack, holding the weight where it's supposed to be. You're going to undo the straps that are connected to the shoulder strap and to the load lifter, and just slide them through the buckles, and it's pretty simple. So now you have that unattached. Now you can take the whole front of your bag off. Okay, so now here's my frame with just the pannier and the lid attached to it. Now down here, same thing, those compression straps that you saw at the bottom that can hold some different things if need be, you're going to also take those off, and you don't have to worry about these falling off. The actual webbing is stitched again, so it has the flap on it, so it'll stop it from going through the buckles unless you're holding it to go through the buckles. So take these two off, and okay, so now you're thinking, cool, I can take it right off. Technically yes, but almost. So right here, okay, I have these undone. I can unhook these from the hip belt. And if I was not doing this one-handed holding the bag, it'd probably be a lot easier. But regardless, they are easy. It's not like rocket science to get this apart. You just think about it a little bit. So I have everything unhooked from the pack except right here. Okay, this is a Siamese clip. And everybody's going to go, what is a Siamese clip? Well, you can take it off the top or the bottom. The easiest way is to take it off the actual hip belt. So right here, you're going to just push down with some pressure, and it's going to pop that clip. And basically what you're going to do is just slide it out of that loop that's on the hip belt. So now here is my pack, the entire front of the pack. Okay, so that leaves me with my frame and my pannier and my lid. So the pannier is obviously the meat shelf. So basically all you're doing here is just hooking all of your components back up. When you open this up, you'll just take these and buckle them to the clips that were there from the pack. Makes life super simple. One there, one here. So there's 3 on each side, so it's not hard to deal with. And again, the more you use the pack, the more you work with the pack, the quicker you will get with the pack. So this is your meat shelf. So now I don't have anything super loosely adjusted, but basically your meat will go back behind this onto the frame in your game bag. Now you can carry it out. But what's really cool, and the reason the lid is what's important, so as you saw, I took the whole front of my pack off. That front, let's say you got into camp, you're gonna stay at that exact spot in camp, you're not moving, tent locations or anything, you could take that entire pack off and leave it at camp. Now you have a day pack with meat packing capability. So you have a nice storage pocket here, so you can throw extra clothes, you can throw a spotting scope so you don't have to carry your whole big bag, you can throw your spotting scope and tripod in here. Obviously you can throw some stuff behind the pannier and use the meat shelf for storage. Again, depending on where you're at situation wise, weather wise, what you'll need for a day hunt. But that's where the lid comes into play. So right here at the top of the frame, there's these 2 pieces that pop up. And basically all you need to do is put your lid right about over those on both sides. And now you can clip your lid into the pannier. So now you have a full day pack with the lid, your reservoirs in here, you know, small storage items, kill kit type of thing. Everything that you could need for one part of your day, one part of your hunt is right here. And then basically all you're doing is once you have a kill or a harvest, you're using the pannier right here. You can see me looking through there. That's your meat shelf, so that's where all of your meat's gonna go. And then all of this unhooks. So like if you needed to take it off, you have two little webbing straps back here that will come off. And then you have obviously just your buckles. And I'm gonna take it down so you can see more of the frame here. So here's the pannier away from the frame. Okay, and I love it because they put that little bearded guy and everything. So it's super easy to deal with. You have a nice blaze orange grab handle, so it's easy to find even in the dark. You have, again, the ability to take all of this off. Pack, lid, pannier, everything. And it's machine washable. Throw it in your washing machine, throw it in the dryer for a few minutes. So you got blood stains coming back from a harvest, something spilled in the pack while you're hiking, easy to deal with. So can't wait to start loading this bad boy up. But the next video you'll see will be a quick presentation on how to fit the pack correctly. So I'm going to put this all back together. We'll get it, you want, whenever you fit a pack, so you know, and I'll talk about this more in the next video, but make sure you have around 25 or 30 pounds in it. Don't try to fit it empty. So stay tuned, guys. The initial Ascent IA6K with the pannier and lid, 100%. So they were at 84 ounces and we are at 104 ounces. So the 20 ounce difference, well worth the difference between the pack that the original list that we are going against as far as weight and price. Now that pack, again, 2016 that they used on their list, at that time retailed for $5.99, and I am sure the price on that pack has gone up. Now if we went against their 2017 list, they were at $6.49 or $6.59, and they actually went up in weight to 90 ounces. So right now we're not much difference in weight. The pack, however, is our load carrying capacity as far as cubic inches is much bigger. The first pack they used was a 5,500 cubic inch pack, and the second one was a 6,000. Well, this pack alone is 6,300, and then you go into with the pannier and the meat shelf, you're at 8,800 cubic inches. So by far we out exceed their carrying capacity in leaps and bounds. So then obviously you have the rain cover, which we have here, which you saw the first impressions of last night, but I wanted to go a little more in depth. So theirs weighed 4.9 ounces as far as their rain cover off the original list. The initial Ascent weighs 4 ounces and at $53.95. So again, we talked about this a little bit last night, but it does have an elastic draw cord all the way around the edge of this. And then we have that little clip I talked about last night. So that little clip is hugely important because, like I said, it's going to give you the correct tension around the bag. Now, what is nice is the initial Ascent is a universal cover. So even if you're not using an initial Ascent bag, you can use the rain cover on other packs. So again, we have just that little logo. I just love it. So you have the big initial Ascent logo on the front. Big thing here is the pouch for the rain cover is attached, so you're not going to have to worry about losing it. And this is, again, once we have the pack loaded, you'll see this go on, but because I just took the pack off, I'm not going to mess with it right this second. But so yeah, super stretchable, ripstop material. You know, at 4 ounces, I mean, you wouldn't even pretty much know that you had it with you. But obviously a rain cover is extremely important for any backcountry trip, whether it's hunting, fishing, just backpack camping. You don't want your gear that you need to get wet. So, alright guys, so right now we are roughly a little bit heavier in weight on the pack, but again, we're not even almost comparing apples and apples, it's apples and oranges, because their pack was much smaller, doesn't have the carrying capacity, doesn't have the adjustability of using this as a day pack. You know, most packs out there, it's like, has some sort of detachable pack that comes off of it to use as a day pack. This is the perfect setup because now you're not dealing with extra pieces. You basically take everything you're going to keep at camp, take your front pack off, leave it there once your tent's set up, get it in the tent, keep it dry. Now you have your frame and day pack capabilities along with a meat shelf, so you can go hunt, make a harvest, boom. You can get everything back to camp while you're there and then figure out the pack out, you know, later on. So initial Ascent IA6K with the initial Ascent rain cover, 100% love this setup, and I cannot wait to load up for you guys, do a fitment and get it loaded and actually start using it in the field. Because I can literally take this on any whitetail hunt as well, just in day pack format. So it alleviates, you know, the 30 other bags that I have for whitetail hunts. So super looking forward to it. Stay tuned for the fitment on this pack. It will be considered part of the series, but it won't be an actual, you know, true episode. Well, we just wanted to be able to fit this for you guys so you guys understand how to fit a pack correctly. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on the bottom. Make sure you check out Initial Ascent, initialascent.com. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Check out their website for sure because they have some great videos. If you're a female and are looking for a new pack, again, that Invictus frame, this particular frame may fit certain women, but the Invictus was actually meant and designed for women. So they actually have a really cool cliff slide test on the pack, so they throw it off the side of a cliff and let it bounce down the side of it. No damage to the frame, no damage to the material, so definitely check those out. And again, for having an all-around type pack, and again, you may not need a 6,000 or 6,300 cubic inch pack. So they have a 2K, they have a 4K, and then they also sell just the day pack version. And for you waterfowl hunters, they actually have a decoy bag that actually goes onto this frame, so that's pretty neat. So check them out, guys. Stay tuned for part 2 of the Backcountry video series. But for right now, part 1, on my end anyway, we are ready to go, ready to start loading the Initial Ascent pack up and get it rocking and rolling. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the little bell for notifications so that when we put up a new video, you guys will get it. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and please stay tuned for Season 2 of Rock and Rod Chronicles on Carbon TV. Talk to you later.